Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Regional Ministers of Education met in Grenada recently for their CXC Summit. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 17th November 2022. Details when we return.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. CXC Ministerial Summit recently held in Grenada focused on nation building. Renata Burnett of HGP Nightly News reports.
The Caribbean Examination Council Ministerial Summit 2022 commenced on Friday in the Spice Island of Grenada. On the eve of the 50th anniversary of CXC, the summit saw the Prime Minister of Grenada, Deacon Mitchell, the Chairman of CXC, Sir Hilary Beckles, Registrar and Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Wayne Wesley, along with other ministers from the different Caribbean countries in attendance. Beckles expressed that the English-speaking Caribbean countries are at the bottom of the pile with regards to moving young people from primary and secondary into tertiary education, noting that the percentage of young people under the age of 30 in higher education is horribly low. Meanwhile, the French, Dutch, and Spanish Caribbean-speaking countries are ahead. Sir Beckles, in his opening remark, highlighted the systemic crisis brought on by COVID-19, noting that one could not resolve the challenges presented by COVID singularly.
All of the various countries were battling with the challenges of getting their children through the curriculum to be tested. CXC, the organization, was struggling with putting together all of the necessary arrangements.
The Prime Minister, in his future address, echoed the Chairman's remarks with a focus on flexible learning, credentialing, and assignments in the Caribbean when he said,
as we seek to move past the extraordinary challenges imposed by COVID-19 and attempt to garner lessons learned from this globally impactful event. The pandemic revealed glaring inefficiencies in our education system and, as a positive, forced us to stop and take a critical look at our approach to learning.
The Chairman underscored the necessity of reverting to the basic principles, stating that the ministers are responsible for the effective education of children under their care, while also acknowledging that different countries face peculiar and specific circumstances, while maintaining that the CXC organization, in its aim to set standards and quality of excellence, is still a humble servant.
It became perfectly clear to us that what is required is an annual summit where our ministers and their staff, CXC, the institution, can meet in summit to discuss, to review, to evaluate.
He added that while the Council is in the business of institutional building and efficiency and laying out the roadmap for the future of CXC as a respected system, serving the people of the region, a region's potential for economic growth and its capacity to develop sophistication in social living heavily relies on education.
No country can prosper and experience civility without an education revolution. It is not possible.
Beckles added that the economy remains sluggish in its recovery due to the inability to generate professional skills and training to push innovation and economic development. He further posited that cleaning up the mess that was inherited after independence serves as a hindrance to moving forward. He claims that the colonizers that created this mess of inadequacy has a duty to return and work to clean up the rubble. The summit is a part of a broader conversation about education and nation building. I am Renata Burnett, reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Prime Minister Drew says in Kitts and Nevis will explore option of making Bitcoin Cash legal tender by March of 2023. Andre Huey of SKN Newsline reports.
Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew has announced that St. Kitts and Nevis will explore the possibility of making Bitcoin Cash legal tender in St. Kitts and Nevis by March 2023. once all the safeguards to the country and the people are guaranteed. He made this grand announcement at the Electronic Cash 2022 conference held at the Royal St. Kitts Hotel in Frigate Bay on Saturday.
I can confirm that we are prepared to explore that possibility with the guidance of experts and professionals, and after consultation with our regional banking system, the financial and economic protection of our country's industrious people is of utmost importance. And therefore, I welcome the opportunity to dialogue further with a view to exploring future opportunities to engage in Bitcoin Cash mining and making Bitcoin Cash legal tender here in St. Kitts and Nevis by March 2023, once the safeguards to our country and our people are guaranteed. Therefore,
the Prime Minister told conference attendees that St. Kitts and Nevis has always looked at exploring industries that can advance the people.
Our nation has always been a forward-thinking nation and a leader in exploring new industries which can advance our people. In furtherance of this national principle, our government is serious about attracting innovative investors, modern industries, and promoting the long-term economic expansion and diversification of our economy. With the use of cryptocurrency in our country, particularly Bitcoin Cash, we are aware of the risk factors to be considered when contemplating national-level financial decisions.
The conference, held for the first time in St. Kitts and Nevis, was organized by Mr. Sonny Gehani, a St. Kitts-based businessman who is considered a pioneer of Bitcoin Cash adoption in St. Kitts and Nevis. It was attended by cryptocurrency enthusiasts and entrepreneurs from around the world, with presentations by payment gateway officials, bankers, and crypto experts. SK Newsline will have follow-ups in subsequent reports. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The Bahamas' Minister of National Security and the Minister of Tourism, Investment and Aviation comment on the collapse of FTX. More in this ZNS News item.
It's been days now since FTX digital markets imploded, yet the global cryptocurrency exchange's startling collapse continues to dominate headlines. And this includes online reports that FTX former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried is selling his penthouse here in the Bahamas, coupled with local investigations into the company's operations. While Bankman-Fried has released a series of tweets noting, "I'll get to what happened," tonight we hear from the government. When questioned ahead of this morning's weekly cabinet meeting, Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Chester Cooper, said only this.
Let me say that the Prime Minister will be speaking to the FTX matter. It's in his remit as Minister of Finance. It's a regular matter for the regulators. I can tell you, though, that I'm confident about the regulators. I'm confident about the laws governing financial services in the Bahamas. We've had curveballs thrown at us before in financial services, and we persevered. We've pivoted in financial services many times. And I expect that we're going to do likewise in the digital assets business. As it relates to the specifics, as you are well aware, the regulator, Securities Commission, is handling the matter, and anything from the government will come from the Minister of Finance, that happens to be the Prime Minister.
A similar response coming from National Security Minister Wayne Monroe.
I can say, for my information, no one has been detained by the police. I wouldn't like to disclose anything beyond that.
An investigation is ongoing.
Anytime the Royal Bahamas Police Force has information that people make allegations that there may be criminal conduct, depending on how it is presented, they then take steps to satisfy themselves as to whether something has or has not happened.
accusing the opposition of defending the police while they were in government. Security Minister of Jamaica, Dr. Horace Chang, says the Holness administration now has to fix the problems created by the PNP. CVM Live has more in this report.
Despite the opposition's calls for the government to get crime under control, Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang insists the PNP should be blamed for the current state of security in the nation. The minister says while the PNP was in power, they defunded the police, which he says resulted in criminals feeling empowered to not only continue committing crimes, but to also challenge the security forces. He says it even resulted in some police becoming frustrated and engaging in wrongdoing.
But again, the government gave no money to security. And when you defund the police, you let go the gunman. People talk about that's what you do. And you end up in a whole generation, the criminal type, that man was in ghetto, who want to behave with impunity, can feel him just shoot and get rid of it. And it's going to take a long time to get that out of them head. Understand them up, behave differently and obey the law, and operate with care and stop the killing.
Dr. Chang says upon appointment to government, the Holness administration took a decision to build the security team to effectively fight criminals.
And the Prime Minister yesterday at the delegates conference, a private session outlined clearly and in depth how much is committed, because as the Prime Minister and the government, we are committed to ensure restore public safety and good order.
The JLP General Secretary says they remain committed to recruiting for the security forces in providing the human power needed to fight crime. He also says the government is providing far better facilities for them to work.
Another case we just really want to know that Olympic Gardens, when I went down there first, the sheer from upstairs was running on the office downstairs. And we put honest, hard-working, decent Jamaican, your children, to work in those conditions.
Dr. Chang says the government is interested in catching the big organizers of crime, not just the little man. Confident that approach will yield better results. Veronique Bowen, CVM Live.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is sharing some of the red flags people should look out for in their relationships, as some of the behaviors are not as apparent as others. The TTPS is also urging people in abusive relationships to seek protection orders. As the police say, they're not simply pieces of paper. This as 22 domestic violence homicides have been recorded for the year already. Renessa Cutting of TV6 News reports.
The TTPS reports that 22 domestic violence homicides have been recorded for the year thus far, compared to 30 last year. The victims were predominantly female, 14 female victims compared to 8 male victims. However, half of the incidents were non-intimate, involving family members. But with respect to intimate partner violence, the police caution persons that some abusive tendencies manifest in less than obvious ways.
So, for instance, obsessive behaviors. Somebody who is stalking you, wanting to know everything about you, right? Checking through your phone, calls, emails, social media platform. They want to be all up in your business. Regularly visiting or calling you at your workplace. They are quickly to move into your house or to want to move in together, right?
The police advise that caution, communication, and time are the best tools to detect abusive traits in another person.
See for ourselves what would have happened to a friend, a neighbor, a relative, right? And do not think that, hey, what, this cannot happen to us. That's a fool's paradise, right? So in terms of getting into a relationship, part of the discussion has to be breakup, right? How do we manage a breakup?
The TTPS is urging persons in abusive relationships to secure protection orders, saying they are not simply pieces of paper.
1, the order can direct that the person relinquish to the police any firearm user's license, firearm or other weapon which he may have in his possession or control and which may or may not have been used, right? So within the order, it takes care of all of these things. Additionally, one may say, if it is that I make a report and the interim order is enforced, and the person has to leave the premises, because that is one of the conditions, that the court can order that the person leave, right? The court can also order that the person, one, pays compensation to you whilst it is there out of the household. Also to pay rent, pay mortgage that they would have been paying before, right? To continue to pay, to reasonably maintain the child or the children within the relationship.
Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
Hubbards is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.